Dear Diary, welcome to Writing Wrednesday. That's what I'm going with. Hey, if I can do Dear Diary for 116 episodes now, I can do Writing Wrednesday. If you don't like it. So, I will usually feature my own writing on this if I plan to do it. This is kind of a temporary thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep doing it. One of the problems with doing this is that it's not that easy to, it's easy enough to tell a story, I can tell a story, but if I'm reading a story, that's very, very different. It's like if I were to try to live stream whenever I'm recording narration or voiceover, it wouldn't be nearly as entertaining as just watching me, do this, because this is streaming straight out of my head, exactly as it is. I'm not confined to the written word. I can do whatever. I will get tongue-tied reading things. Even if it's something that I wrote, I will still, get messed up. Now, if I don't have enough of my own stuff, I've had several friends who've been like, could you read part of this sort of thing? The only thing that might prevent me from doing this, and this is why I say that this is a temporary thing as far as I'm concerned right now, is because I have to pre-read so much. Because, normally, when I do this, I turn the camera on and I talk about my day or whatever's on my mind. I don't have to prep anything, really. I write notes on occasion. It's like, oh, that was funny. I'll have to remember to, talk about that tonight or whatever. But if it's something like this, this is the story I've got for tonight, and it's very short. And it's not even a full page. It'll probably take me 2 or 3 minutes at most to read through it. But I wrote it in 2009, early 2009. So even though I just read it before I turned the camera on like 4 or 5 times to make sure that I've got it refreshed in my brain, I'm still probably going to screw it up somewhere. And if it's not my writing, if it's a story that I'm not familiar with yet, then I'll have to read it even more. And I'll have to read it and reread it and reread it and reread it over and over and over again. Then I'll have to read it out loud 2 or 3 times at least to, get myself accustomed to saying the words. So that may be more time than I am willing to put into this kind of a thing. So that's why I say that this is, for right now, I'm considering this temporary. We're just trying it out to see how it goes. It may turn out that the amount of time that I have to put into getting ready to do this on Wednesdays is more than I'm willing to sacrifice for a Wednesday. So, a little history on this particular story. Was many years ago, when I was working at EA the first time, when we were working on Spore, I think. I was at the office. It was very, very late, and I think it was getting close to 1 or 2 in the morning. And while I was sitting at my desk, out of the corner of my eye, I very clearly, that sounds like an odd phrase, I saw it clearly out of the corner of my eye. Everything's blurry over here. What am I talking about? But that's kind of the point. I knew exactly what was over there. And when I read the story, you'll understand. But in that moment, it was absolutely real for me. I was a bit tired. And this story was spawned from that particular moment. So, this is Hunt's End. Half a glance to the left. Out of the corner of his eye, he could see it. It crouched there in the hallway, staring at him from the shadows and drooling from beneath the sickening green glow of its eyes. It was just like all the others, hiding in the bare fringes of his vision, looking at him like a well-favored meal that one has been anticipating for weeks. This one was more simian than most others, like a blackened blood gorilla whose facial structure had been shattered and stretched to something more lupine and allowed to set incorrectly. The saliva steamed in a slowly... See? That's what I'm talking about. The saliva steamed in a slowly spreading pool in the carpet as it glared at him. He tried not to think about it, but it was nearly impossible. How easily could you ignore a starving beast only a single powerful leap away, while it looks at you like a starved man with nothing to separate you but the air? Still, this sort of thing was not uncommon for him. Scarcely a week went by that something like this didn't happen to him, or anyone else for that matter. That fact, more than anything, made this situation almost impossible to deal with. It was bad enough that he was aware of the demons and monsters that wandered the world, often able to actually see them, but the fact that almost no one else could or would allow themselves to made it all the worse. Anyone he told them about always thought he was carrying a joke too far, or potentially insane. Unfortunately, to his very core, he knew that neither was the case. What to call this one? Goralupine? Wolfarella? Both sounded equally stupid, but that always helped him to think of them in a more comical light. That made them easier to ignore. And unlike most problems, ignoring demons actually helped a bit. They were drawn to fear and anxiety and paranoia, which is why they tended to plague those who could actually see them. Making their prey more afraid made the meat all the sweeter. The satisfaction of the hunt's end richer and more fulfilling than the meal alone. But demons are also opportunistic killers. They won't waste their time with so difficult prey when there's easier fare readily available. So the Goralupus studied him from the shadowy hallway, trying to determine if its presence was known, and it would be able to torment him enough to enrich his final flavor. So that's, yeah, there you go. There's Hunt's End, and that, not very much to it. But back then, I tended to write in very short spurts. I still do in a lot of ways. But, I really kind of enjoyed that one, and I gave that to one of the guys that I was working with. Actually, I think I was still on Tiger Woods 07. That was 2006 that happened. So I wrote it a lot earlier than I thought I did. Anyway, oh, I know what it was. I had originally written this in Microsoft Word, and when I copy-pasted it over to OpenOffice, which I use now, that's when it created the new file, and the timestamp on the thing changed. That's why it says 2009. But it was actually written in 2006. Anyway, I gave it to one of the other testers that was working on Tiger Woods 07 with me, and he said that he liked it very, very much. It had a very Lovecraftian flavor to it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of cool. And then later, this was like weeks later, I was like, well, I appreciate the praise, but does he really know what he's talking about? And my boss said, well, he's got a writing degree from Stanford. He probably does. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, he probably does. And I'm like, wait a minute, he's got a writing degree from Stanford and he's testing video games? It's like, yeah, just because you got, sometimes this is all you can get. And, yeah, okay, all right, fine. So, 8.5 minutes. So I'll leave you with that. Let's see, it's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. So I will probably be very full when I talk to you guys next. We're supposed to go to Black Angus tomorrow for dinner. One of my housemates has reservations over Black Angus, so we'll probably I may well fall asleep in the middle of recording. We'll see. It'll be like, Thursday. It's like, so today we, and I'll be out. Then it'll just, the thing will be 5 hours long, and I'll upload it, and it will take 70 years to upload and encode to YouTube, and it'll just be me sleeping. Which won't that be exciting? What else? Friday is Into the Portal, our EverQuest Next podcast, which I understand we're supposed to have a new host. Not like a permanent thing, but I think Locke has something that he has to do. At least that's what I've heard. Oh, right. He's got his surgery thing where he's getting his knees connected to someone else's knees to, yeah. Yeah, no, anyway, he's not going to be there. So we're supposed to have someone else. Can't remember who it is. But anyway, that'll be on Friday. That's a ways off, yeah. So I hope that you guys liked the story. If you did, let me know by clicking the like button, which is, it's right down there, I think. unless you've got the thing full screened for this, in which case it's right up here. It's one of the up-down hands over here. But anyway, if you liked it, click like. It's amazing how that works. It communicates things very well, especially to the analytics engine, which makes me more famous. And then, of course, feel free to leave comments and stuff. If you didn't like it, click didn't like either one of these two places and leave a comment. Let me know. Let me know why you didn't like it. Because that's, it's much easier for a writer to get better at what they're doing if you tell them why you didn't like it. And so, yeah, I'm going to let you guys go. And I am going to have my dessert, which is apparently a caramel apple pop. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Until then, be careless.